You know, when it comes to Nintendo's E3, I really wonder what they're gonna show. Could we see the long-awaited Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, the ever-elusive Bayonetta 3, perhaps the Metroid Prime 4 update that we all want? Who knows, maybe we'll get a Legend of Zelda combo pack. I would really like to play the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker on the Nintendo Switch. That would be so fantastic. There are so many questions and little answers. Questions that will hopefully be answered at E3. Hey guys, it's Rob here, and welcome back to the Robo-chan Show, where we cover the latest gaming news, leaks, and rumors from Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo in 2020 and beyond. If you want to be kept up on the latest gaming news, make sure you click that red subscribe button below this video and that notification bell so you know when I upload. And if you're interested, I have a Patreon, which link to that will be in the pinned comment along with my Twitter account. In this video, we're going to talk about the new Nintendo Switch news that just dropped about Nintendo's E3 Nintendo Direct, and talk about what games we could see at this E3 Nintendo Direct. The wording in their tweet was very specific and for very specific games, so make sure you stick to the end. And if you guys enjoy this video, leave a like, it helps the video out a lot, and if you want to follow me on Twitter and help me reach my goal of 600 followers on Twitter, you can follow me at RoboRob93. Without further delay, let's get to the video. So Nintendo has been on a hot streak with the Nintendo Switch. It's crazy to think just 4 or 5 years ago, people were calling doom and gloom for the Nintendo Switch. It's even more crazy that a couple years before that, Nintendo was pushing out the Wii U and the 3DS was doing amazing for Nintendo. Not so much for the Wii U. Fast forward to 2021 and Nintendo is doing fantastic with the Nintendo Switch. Many of the entries in Nintendo's most famous and most played franchises of all time have hit their all-time high in sales. It seems that every single time we have a sequel or even a new game or even third-party games hitting the Nintendo Switch, we see headlines that talk about how well it's doing on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, just recently the Nintendo Switch has topped 20 million sales in Japan. Only 4 other consoles have done that in Japan, so it's a pretty big achievement. And guys, what's even more crazy is that Nintendo still has the rumored Nintendo Switch Pro to further push those sales along. And not only the Nintendo Switch Pro, but games like Breath of the Wild 2, which should be shown at E3, and other big Nintendo Switch games. I mean, it's gonna be shown, right? And in all this craziness, Nintendo has yet again dropped some news that is gonna get us Nintendo fans more excited. So we have been waiting for a very long time for Nintendo to announce their plans for their E3 Nintendo Direct. And it seems that they finally have at the time of this recording. Right now, there are a ton of things trending on Twitter, from the Nintendo Switch Pro to Metroid Prime 4 to Breath of the Wild 2. It's kinda getting crazy, but what's even more crazy is what Nintendo has to say in their tweet. Tune in for a Nintendo Direct with roughly 40 minutes of info focused exclusively on the Nintendo Switch software, mostly releasing in 2021, followed by around 3 hours of gameplay in Nintendo Treehouse Live. Now, I will be streaming this, so if you guys want to stop by, you can, and we can see what Nintendo has to offer. Which, speaking of what Nintendo has to offer, if you want to hear my predictions on what we'll see at the E3 Nintendo Direct, click the top right corner of this video, and if not, let's continue with the video. So the 40 minutes is what I was expecting from the Nintendo Direct. That seems to be usually the amount for every single Nintendo Direct that we've had. It's usually 30 to 50 minutes. Now, they say that they are going to focus on software. This means that the Nintendo Switch Pro will probably not be at that E3 Nintendo Direct. Now, the Nintendo Switch Pro not being at this E3 Nintendo Direct makes a lot of sense to me. Right now, there are multiple listings for the Nintendo Switch Pro on multiple websites, from a French website to Amazon to more. I did a video on it yesterday, and a link to that will be in the pinned comment and also in the top right corner of the screen. But anyways, not only is this listing here, but Central Leaks also says there's going to be pre-orders available on the 4th of this month. If the listing and this Nintendo Switch Pro rumor from Central Leak is true, which they're really good when it comes to rumors and leaks, then the reveal for the Nintendo Switch Pro would be today at the time of this release for the video. Again, like I said, I'm recording this on the 2nd and I'm going to release this video on the 3rd. Now, this really brings up the question, why? Why would Nintendo want to reveal the Nintendo Switch Pro before E3 and not at E3? Well, if you've been watching the Robotron show, you will remember me saying that it's just going to be a tease to get us excited. Now, digging a little bit deeper into this tweet, they also say mostly in 2021. This means the Nintendo Direct will cover games that are releasing in 2021 and games beyond that as well. But most of the games that they're going to show are going to be from 2021. And the new Nintendo Switch games that are lower on the development timeline probably won't show up. But the question is, what games are those? Well, let's start with the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 has been in development for quite some time. The first trailer came out 2 years ago, and more than likely it was in development before then. So let's say it's a bare minimum of 3 years. Compare that to the 5 years that Breath of the Wild 1 was in development, and you can start to see why you're probably not going to see a release in 2021. The two are very similar, with Breath of the Wild 2 being a sequel to Breath of the Wild 1. Knowing this basic info, I find it hard to believe that Breath of the Wild 2 will release in 2021, even if it was built on the same engine as Breath of the Wild 1. So while I do think we will see a huge gameplay reveal for Breath of the Wild 2 at E3, which will be further explored in a Nintendo Treehouse, I don't think that we'll see a release in 2021. But I have a feeling that the release window will be announced, and as we get closer to that window, just like the Pokemon games, we'll see a release date announced for Breath of the Wild 2. And this is why I think the tweet says mostly 2021, because I do think some games in 2022 and 2023 will be teased and talked about, like Metroid Prime 4. Now let's shift our focus over to Metroid Prime 4, another big Nintendo title. Metroid Prime 4 is one of those games that we don't know anything about. Not a zip, zilch. There is nothing on it other than that first trailer. And there's a pretty good reason for this. Nintendo restarted development on Metroid Prime 4 not too long ago. We have been hearing news on different developers who have worked on games like God of War, Call of Duty, and other big franchises joining them, but that's all we really know. We don't know any gameplay or story details. Heck, we don't even have a CGI trailer like we had with Breath of the Wild 2. I think Metroid Prime 4 is a game that is far off. I'm not even talking 2021, 2022, 2023. I think this game is going to come out in 2024. Now that doesn't mean I don't think it's going to be at E3. I think we will see an in-engine cutscene or maybe some concept art, but something very small. And even that is a bit of a stretch for Metroid Prime 4 in my opinion. Now speaking a little on Bayonetta 3, I think we're definitely going to see this game at E3. And if we don't, should we start asking some questions on whether or not the development of Bayonetta 3 is going well or not? Well, in my opinion, yeah, I think so, because we haven't seen anything from it other than that first trailer. Though on the flip side, you could say they announced it too early or the bug really halted their development. There are multiple reasons why we haven't seen gameplay for Bayonetta 3, but hopefully we'll see it at E3. And the last one I want to touch upon is Shinmagame Tensei 5. The game was announced at the launch of the Nintendo Switch. So far we have had two trailers, and the first trailer was just a launch trailer. There was no gameplay at all and really no sign of a story at all at that point. And the next one was, I believe, at the partner showcase when Nintendo wasn't too keen on sharing news with us. I mean, do you guys remember that when we had like no Nintendo news at all? It was a pretty low point for us fans. But anyways, we should see gameplay from that game. It is a 2021 game, so I would generally expect a release date and more gameplay along with some story details. Which I really can't wait for this game because I'm a huge RPG fan. I say it all the time in my videos. I mean, actually, I just bought the first Ni no Kuni remaster on the PS4, so I'm still buying RPGs and I'm still really enjoying these games. Now, new Nintendo Switch games that we already know exist aside, I wonder what Nintendo has in store for us other than those games. Because remember, the bug for Nintendo did hold a lot of development and they kept a lot in their pockets. It really makes me wonder if Nintendo has any huge surprises for us for games that we don't know exist at all. Like, no one is thinking about the games at all. Not only those unknown games, but also games that are rumored, like the Donkey Kong game that's supposed to be made by the Mario Odyssey team, the Metroid Prime 2D... I didn't say Metro, I meant Metroid. I caught myself this time. I meant the 2D Metroid Prime game. According to a Nintendo leaker by the name of Zippo, it's already done and finished. And then you have the games that we generally wish Nintendo would just do, like a Wind Waker on the Nintendo Switch or the Zelda 35th Anniversary. There are so many different things that we all want on the Nintendo Switch that Nintendo could possibly announce. I'm still holding out for that Wind Waker on the Switch, guys. But with that being said, what do you guys want to see at E3 and what do you think is going to be shown at E3? Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below, and for those who reached the end of this video, here's a cookie. Thanks for watching, guys, and remember, stay safe, stay charged, and have a good one.